What's good with it, y'all? It's your boy Santo G, man. Back at it, spreading unity, prosperity, and respect, man. Above all. So today, I just wanted to sit down and tell you guys a couple more stories. And if you guys have been keeping up with the chapters of my life, the growing up in LA with Santo G, and the chapters of my life, I'm in chapter 10, and it talks about when I was in sATF. And it talks about a little situation where my bunkie got into it with the homie that had the yard, and they got down in the yard. And then pretty much I had to move on my bunkie because of that situation and had to take him to the back. So pretty much I stayed in control of that building. I was helping him out at the time, but since he was gone, since he left, I stayed in control of that building. So after this whole situation happened with my bunkie and the homie Smokey, a lot of homies on that yard were looking at the homie Smokey like sideways, They were looking at him like, damn, homeboy fucked up, homeboy needs to go to the back too, you know what I'm saying? And there was a couple of heads, like a little group that was in building 2. The homie Smokey was in building 1. I was in building 3. But there was a nice handful of cats that were in building 2 that were not necessarily rocking with us, you know what I'm saying? They were plotting on us. So, and the reason I say us is because I'm there in play for the homie Smokey. Even though the homie Scrappy from the Acres is the one that got me in, but I was helping him. Now he's gone. I have the building to myself, so now I'm helping the homie that has the yard, right? So I just got stuck in the whole situation where any homie, anyone that got the yard or anything like that, homie, like, you gotta take care of this person, you gotta look out for them. You know what I'm saying? Type shit. Anywhere, it's like anyone. If your homie has your hood, y'all gotta make sure that he's good type shit. You know what I'm saying? And that just goes without saying. If you a real homie and your quota's in this, that's just gonna be you off the back. Regardless if you know the person or not. It's just that's the way we're brought up. So pretty much the only reason I had homeboys back is because I was loyal, you know what I'm saying? I was loyal. I'm working under this man. Why am I gonna go plot with other people against this man? You know what I mean? That's not my get down. You know what I'm saying? If I have a problem with something, I'm gonna just tell you straight up. I'm not gonna do shit behind your back or none of that. But so these homies didn't like that about old boy. And at the time, there was a homie Poison from Tortilla Flats, from the Torrance Tortilla Flats. You know what I mean? Shout out Poison. You know what I'm saying? I know he was out there doing his thing, but my boy did some comadreando, you know what I'm saying? He went, so we had a little junta in the bleachers, right? And we were talking about homies that weren't going to yard and stuff like that. And we were talking about who was going to be in play for us in building 2. You know what I'm saying? Because the homie Smokey knew that he couldn't really trust anyone there. Well, I ended up coming from the Shafter MCCF. So did the homie Poison. The homie Poison had went on a holiday over there. So then he ended up in SATF with me. So we already knew each other a little bit from being in the Shafter MCCF. You know what I'm saying? So I'm right there talking with the homie Smokey and a couple other people, and I see Poison walking. So I'm like, hey, boom, you know what? Hey, Smokes, like, get that Poison, fool. Like, he's been around. He knows what time it is. Get that Poison. So we call him over, like, hey, fool, Kyle, you know? So we start talking to him, like, hey, look, we're gonna leave you in charge of building 2, woo, 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 And the homie makes the mistake of bringing up the homie Hammer. And I don't know if he was from Maravilla or from Moreno Valley, but he was all blasted. But I would hardly see the homie because he will hardly come out to yard, you know what I'm saying? And pretty much the homie was trying to enforce that, like, hey, look, we're around Northerners, you're supposed to be doing coming out to yard first and foremost because it's mandatory workout. You got to come out and stay out for the first 2 unlocks. Then you could go inside and do whatever you want to do. So the homie was pretty much getting at the homie Poison, like, hey, just reinforce the reglas in your building. This you now. So tell me why the homeboy goes to this fool Hammer and pretty much, I don't know what he tells him, but keep in mind, homeboy just had my bunkie smashed out. and they knew it was over dope. You know what I'm saying? And this group, that's all necessarily they cared about was dope. They were all on one. They were all on one on Scante at the time. You know what I'm saying? So the homie Poison goes over there, and I don't know what he tells them. He's just supposed to tell them, like, hey, y'all fools keep up with your program, go to yard, work out, all that. That's all. It was just supposed to be a simple, enforce the rules. You know what I'm saying? So we come out to yard the next day, and I go to the bleachers, and they're deep, almost all building two. The bleachers is almost all building two. You know what I'm saying? They're deep out there. Walk up to Poison, and we walk like by the handlebars, right? So we walk up to Poison, and he's like, "Hey, the homie's hot." Woo, woo, woo. Like, just smiling, laughing, like, "Woo, woo." Like, my boy, what the fuck did you tell him, homie? Like, all we told you was to tell him to come out to yard, show his face more often. You know what I mean? This, and that. It wasn't even big like that. The homie came out thinking that if he made any little mistake, he was gonna get smashed out next. That's what I don't know if the homie tried to intimidate this motherfucker or what, but that's what he came out thinking. So we're talking, it's like a little group by the handlebars, and the bleachers are over here. It's like a cool little, like, I want to say like 50 feet, you know what I mean? Or like 20 feet, like 25, 50 feet in the middle of there. So we're at the I'm at the bleachers. They're over here. I'm talking to Poison, so I'm walking to where these fools are at. So I go and I tell them, like, hey, fool, Trusha, this fool just told him some bullshit. I'm gonna go holler at him. So what I go and I'm walking back, and what I'm walking back, the homie fucking Green Eyes from Paxton, from Pacoima. Shout out my homie Green Eyes. Shout out all my Pacoima and all my Paxton boys. You know what I'm saying? So as I'm walking back, the homie Green Eyes comes up to me, and he's telling me, like, hey, fool, what's going on? Woo, woo. Because that was my boy right there. As a matter of fact, that's how I knew Poison. Poison was Green Eyes' boy, but Green Eyes was my boy. So that's why we were like, you know what? Poison. You know what I'm saying? So I'm talking to Green Eyes, and I didn't know what's going on. Next thing you know, I just start here. What the fuck? Then I just hear the homie Green. I look back like, oh fuck, and then he just runs. So then I look back and I see them packing out the homie that has the yard. Them fools are packing them out. Like, what the fuck? So then I see the homie Green Eyes runs and helps him. It was me, the homie Green Eyes, the homie Smokey from Southside Bakers, and the homie Pelon from Dogtown. It was just four of us against like 10 motherfuckers. So I just see the homie Green Eyes take off. Boom, I follow the homie Green Eyes, and he's squaring up with one of the homies. I think he was from Verdugo, some fool villain. You know what I mean? Salute to villain too. Even though we had that whole situation, I ran into him in F yard, and you know what I mean? We talked it out and we squashed it. We left it as it was. So shout out villain. You know what I mean? All the mother fools. You know what I mean? I never even talked to them, but villain's the only one that I ran into in another yard, and actually came up to me and you know what I mean? Was like, hey boy, it is what it is. Situation happened. You know what I mean? So salute to you, boy. But I see the homie villain squaring up with the homie Green Eyes. That's my boy. So that's the first thing I do. I just go and I run up there. Boop boop. That fool runs. He runs. So then I squared off with some other little fool. He was claiming Westside Verdugo, but he wasn't from Verdugo. I don't remember what they call him. So I'm squaring up with him. Boop boop boop. Drop him. And then next thing you know, I just look to the side and I see all IGI and everyone coming. So I just skirted to the side with the homies that were right there working out, you know? Just skirted to the side and I just posted. And them fools still were in the middle, like on the other side of the yard type shit. So they kept going. And the only reason I wanted to stay is because there was nobody else in play. They're taking off on the homie that has the yard. The homie that has building one is involved. The homie that has building two is involved. I'm in building three. I'm involved. So who's gonna stay? You know what I mean? So I made the decision of staying. I blended in between the crowd and I stayed. You know what I'm saying? And long story short, the whole situation that happened, the homie Hammer, he it ended up happening that the homie Hammer, he owed some white boy, some old white boy with like a cane. He owed him a large amount of feria type shit. Like that was his bunkie. Right there is little cubicles. It's little like 6-man cubicles. So he was in his little cubicle and they had a little thing going on. So it turned into a whole big situation, you know what I'm saying? And that situation right there of my bunkie getting down with the homie that had the yard turned into a big melee. Then that big melee, next thing you know, this white boy saying that the homie owes him money and he's pushing the issue. He brings it up at the time. It was some white boy Nasty from Oildale. Shout out Nasty from Oildale. Shout out Jason from Oildale too. That was his right hand. So it was them two that were in play. So they go up to him. The white boy goes up to him and he pretty much tells them the situation. And man, what does homeboy do? Start a whole nother situation. Instead of homeboy just being like, hey, you know what? Let's come to a resolution. Homeboy was just like, hey, nah, why would you let this man get in debt that much? You know, why would you let him owe you that much feria? You know what I'm saying? So for him, I don't think it was him necessarily scared. He just didn't want to deal with the situation. He had that white boy with a cane smashed out because of him bringing up that and creating an issue. He just had him smashed out because he didn't want to deal with it. So that white boy that he had smashed out goes to the hole, and from the hole he's riding fucking wheelies to the C yard. He's right because right there they got the level 4 yard. So this was on the 2 yard. So he's riding wheelies. For those who y'all who don't know what wheelies are or a one time, it's pretty much a prison made letter. You know what I mean? A prison made note, little note that you say like say if you're in the hole and I know someone's about to hit the yard, like about to get kicked out the hole, I'm gonna write a wheelie to one of my homeboys or whatever. Hey, take it to the yard type. So he did that to C yard. And then C Yard ended up calling over to us and pretty much said, "Hey, old boy gotta go." Like the situation, him calling the call that he made, smashing on old boy for that, that's not right. You know, he got to go. So now, and this belongs to me. This is all going on. You know, so I go out to yard one day, and again, they approach me, and I know you guys are probably saying, "Why would they approach me?" Because I was in play there. You know, at that time, I was pretty much the homie Smokey that had the yard ended up going to the back, and a lot of homies ended up going to the back. So now, even though I'm not at that time, I'm not necessarily plugged in, like I'm not necessarily under someone's family or anything like that, but at that time, there was nobody else there to oversee that yard. So I got the numbers that I needed to get, called whoever I needed to call, and I ended up overseeing that yard, you know? So that's why they're coming up to me and telling me, hey, this is about to happen. Because anytime something goes down, anytime we're about to do something, we let them know, you know? All right, now I'm back. Sorry about that, man. I had to get a package. So anytime any race does anything or any card does anything, just out of respect, before it's about to happen, we let the other cars know. Whoever's in play for the other cars, we let them know. Like, hey, G, we about to do this. Tuck anything you need to tuck. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna give you an unlock. Next unlock, anything you got that you don't want out here, go ahead, do your thing. You know, that way it doesn't create anything big. Like, hey, you should have told us we got caught with this or we got caught with that. We had this going on, we had that going on. We try to be on the same page with each other for the most part, you know? We give each other a little courtesy. So that's why I'm saying the white boys came up to me and told me, hey, we're gonna handle this situation. So I see Nasty strolling the yard. Him and Jason. Salute to Jason because hey, he actually chunked them with him. He went to the back with him, you know? So Nasty's walking the yard, and there's some big old stocky fucking corn fed ass dude, corn fed ass white boy, right? And the whole time he's just working out, and he has a vest that says hearing impaired. So this fool's deaf. He can't hear, but he works out. Like every time I would see this guy, he was working out, and he was big. So pretty much he's walking the yard and it was two white boys, but man, it was that one big corn fed dude. Cause Nasty was older. He was a little fit, but he was already older, probably like in his 50s, you know what I'm saying? So he's walking by the pull-up bar, old boy's right there. As soon as he's walking by him, he just bang. I don't know if he hit him with something or if it was just the old boy was that strong, but homeboy just said, and his fucking head hit the ground like smack, like nasty, nasty. I'm talking about when his head hit the ground, nasty, to the point where old boy just got on top of him. And the first hit, when his head hit the ground, my boy was out. He was unconscious. Old boy didn't even have to hit him no more, but old boy was on top of him, kicking him in the face, everything. My boy got done dirty. He got done dirty to the point where he got airlifted off the yard. They said he was DOA. He was dead on arrival at the hospital. They had to bring him back to life type shit. That's how hard he hit his head on the concrete. You know what I'm saying? So that's another whole vicious turn of events. You know what I'm saying? How one event can lead to another, can lead to another. And it be like that in prison, you know? It be like that. That's why I said whenever you see situations take place, like someone gets stabbed or anything like that, you get this fucking feeling like a wake up call. You know what I'm saying? Like for the next couple of days, like I said, for the next couple of days, you're walking on eggshells. You're being courteous to everyone, not disrespecting no one, because you know the reality of shit. That at any given point in time, shit like that could happen. You know what I'm saying? So think about that. Think about that, youngsters. Before y'all try to go to prison, before y'all want to go to jail, it doesn't necessarily take you getting at someone the wrong way. It just takes you being at the wrong place, the wrong time, or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? So I suggest this is a learning lesson and just keep y'all motherfuckers on the street. Worry about your family, worry about your loved ones. At the end of the day, that's what matters. It's your boy Santo G. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. If you guys made it thus far, don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell, hit that like button. It don't cost you nothing. And I'm only getting warmed up, man. I got stories like this for days. And like I said, I'm not saying any of this to glorify it or because I condone violence or anything like that. But as I can see, man, you guys like it. I put up reactions and they don't really get the views that my crazy prison stories get. So as much as people could be in my comments talking about, oh, you're condoning this and all that, my boy, that's what y'all like to see. The numbers don't lie. You know what I'm saying? Numbers don't lie. So I'm gonna give it to y'all raw and I'm gonna give it to y'all uncut. And we gonna keep getting it regardless of anything. You know what I mean? Regardless of what any of the haters say. This gonna be the hardest prison channel on this motherfucking YouTube platform. I guarantee you that. Like I said, I'm only getting warmed up and I'm getting a camera to where I'm gonna start going around my neighborhood and tell you guys stories that happen in my neighborhood, but at the actual place. You know what I'm saying? It's your boy Santo G, unity, prosperity, and respect. Let's get it.